Hello folks, welcome to another Bitcoin market analysis by Inspocrypto. Let us try to make a quick overview today. Quick, that's my redefinition for extremely long video as usual. However, first of all I would thank you for your patience and just say sorry for the issue yesterday. It wasn't really my fault. I don't really know what happened, to be honest to you, because I mean, yeah, I did everything like just before, but this time it didn't work. I had some problems with YouTube. YouTube was, I don't know, it was indicating it was uploading, but usually it takes 20 to 30 minutes, and it was taking much more, really much more. And that's something that's absolutely unusual. So it's just really, yeah, I'm clueless what happened yesterday. Interesting that the YouTube team on Twitter contacted me after they noticed my tweet and asked what happened. That was really a very interesting experience. Anyway, today I provided then on both ways, on Substack and YouTube, the videos, and it's indicating that YouTube is working again. We have a big storm here in our region, so maybe because I'm using G5 internet here partly in the house, so Wi-Fi and G5, and I wasn't notice any problems. I could watch TV, I could work, but YouTube wasn't working. I have checked then afterwards just such kind of issue website, and it seems YouTube had some problems yesterday as well. So maybe that was a combination of both. I don't know, but I will try YouTube today again. If I'm noticing that we are getting the same problems, I will automatically also upload the videos on Substack. The problem on Substack, it's not providing any kind of subtitles, so for some of you it's crucial. Let us talk about Fed and the data today. Well, first of all, they released the core CPI, the CPI for December and the yearly one, and then the CPI for December, the monthly one, initial jobless claims as well. And yesterday, the crude oil inventories. Nobody cares about that, but also that is a very interesting one, a very interesting data. I will explain why, because let us start with core CPI. What does that mean? Inflation measure without food and energy. CPI, inflation measure including food and energy. The core CPI, so for goods and energy, for goods and services without food and energy, lifted up. They forecasted that 0.3%, and we did 0.3%. It's 0.1% more than in November. Something that's not unusual because December is a Christmas business month. So yeah, it would make sense. However, that also is indicating that consumers are buying, are spending money, even if it's not their money, but they are spending money, so everything is fine there. The CPI, they forecasted 6.5%. We had in November 7.1%. So it declined by 0.6% since the 7.1%. That's the yearly one, okay, that's not the monthly one. So that includes food and energy. We know that energy prices went down. Even some food prices went down. The problem is food prices are soaring right now. So that's what even I think Bloomberg was mentioning just a few days ago, that food prices are lifting up again. And at least natural gas did the same. So could also indicate, we need to track that a little bit, but could indicate that inflation factors are lifting up once again. However, the CPI monthly for December, we had in November 0.1%. They forecasted 0 and we did minus 0.1%. Is that bullish? No, they just neutralized the plus of November. So it's absolutely, I wouldn't say that's a big thing. However, the core CPI indicating the consumer behavior is still looking too strong. And if people have more jobs, if people are spending all, or at least they continue spending their money, inflation will not drop. They will not drop like the Fed is looking like, to 2%. We will see the next CPI will be absolutely very interesting. That's the first point. The second point, and that was part of one analysis about the monetary policy, the risk and the opportunities. That's a few weeks ago, maybe you remember. That's about the crude oil inventories. We received a huge crude oil inventories, almost 19 million barrels. That's a lot. Previously, we had 1.7 million, and they forecasted this time minus 2.2 million barrels. They did almost 19 million. How is that possible? Well, I think that's not a coincidence that the US started an agreement with Venezuela to import Venezuelan crude oil. I don't know if many of you know that, but between US and Venezuela, they don't like each other. So at least the US interfered in different times in the Venezuelan governments. They tried to cope. They funded just the opposition, and they declared him president. The European Union, by the way, as well. As if I'm right, I'm not 100% sure, but I think at least they accepted him like the next president of Venezuela, and so on and so forth. Even as Donald Trump was president of the United States, they tried with mercenaries to create a coup in Venezuela to, well, I wouldn't say invade, but something like. So you can imagine that the relationship between the US and Venezuela is not good at all. But both have a big problem. The US, we know the problem with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia was a big ally of the US and one of the main exporters or importers of crude oil in the US. So, yeah, we also know that Saudi Arabia is not interested to have much more agreements with the US related to crude oil. So at the same time, Venezuela, for example, is the main, or is one of the main crude oil exporters to China. But as we know, China had a lack of demand, or created a lack of demand for crude oil because of their zero COVID policy. So, of course, both had a big problem, and both have noticing that both could work together. And so they started just an agreement. So the US with Venezuela. Venezuela is now with over Chevron selling Venezuelan crude oil, and they are importing crude oil to the US. And I have mentioned this agreement was built or created over very thin ice, because for Venezuela they don't trust the US. Even they are using the United Nations as such kind of middleman, because the US is not paying their money for the crude oil directly to the Venezuelan government. They are paying to the United Nations, and United Nations is converting this money in different goods for Venezuela. So they are importing goods from the US and other countries with the money that the US is spending for this crude oil. That's the whole deal. But now, as you know, China is trying to open their economy. It means they will demand more crude oil. And that could be a big problem for US and maybe also for Venezuela, because the US military was very aggressive looking for an invasion to Venezuela and the cope. So in case that Venezuela, and that's something I can imagine, when Venezuela started to cancel these agreement with the United Nations and the US, then, I mean, for them it's not a big issue because they would have a big demand in China. But for the US, that could be a big problem, a really big problem. And of course, that means that also crude oil prices in the US could soar afterwards. Because the big question is, where are these guys going to import the crude oil they need? So at the same time, as mentioned, food is soaring once again. Bloomberg just mentioned that a few days ago. And I mean, to think that the whole thing is done, we don't have any inflation will decline to 2%, and so on and so forth. In my opinion, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen without the help of the Fed, meaning to raise more the interest rates. And I don't think that Harker's opinion, that's a Fed member, where he said, well, it seems that the inflation problem is done, and maybe we should raise the interest rate next time 25 bps, just few more times this year, and that's it. Wow. So the big question is, what was the main driver of the whole thing? Wasn't it Ukraine, Russia? Wasn't it the problems also with China? Something that, I mean, we didn't start it yet. That's an economy war between US and China. And I mean, even the DXY is dumping. It looks so extremely weak. And I know that's the only weapon that the US government has. That's the only one. But allies like, for example, Japan, for them it's a pain in the ass. And they are doing everything to maintain the sorry, I was reading something. To maintain the US dollar weak, of course. But at the same time, it also means a weak US dollar, a higher import inflation. So if the US is buying their imports in US dollar, it's not a problem. But more and more nations are denying it. And one of the biggest import countries of the US is China. So if import inflation is going up, that will have also an impact to core CPI. And in case that China starts to open their economy, it will have an impact to CPI as well. Energy prices will go up. Just because we have a lack of demand, the crude oil is down. But just imagine when they start again. So I would be extremely careful. I mean, if I take a look to the chart, I would say that that's a big joke. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not going to trade that. Absolutely not. Because I told you many times, I don't depend on my trades. I know some of you need to do it. And for them, I just can say, trade the charts. use the provided data to see if you can adjust your trade strategy in a better way, to see what whales are doing and how the whole situation is looking like. But don't trade what Inspo is saying. I mean, that's what I'm saying almost in every analysis. Just trade what you think is better for you, because that's part of Inspo's goal, is just to educate you how to read certain charts and give you a little bit the overview from an economist how the global economy looks like, or what the monetary policy could look like next. Some people are saying inflation peaked, it's over, the market's bottomed already. I mean, if you compare the German economy with the economy we had just a few years ago, we are getting a record on insolvencies. We are getting more people jobless. We still have a high inflation, much more than in the US, by the way. And the DAX, that's an index for the German industry, for the big players in the German economy, is hitting its former all-time high. The euro is pushing up like no tomorrow. By the way, is Germany the third biggest export nations to the US? Also, another thing, import inflation for the US. In my opinion, for the US, it doesn't look great. I mean, for Europe as well, it doesn't look great. But mainly for the US, it doesn't look great. Absolutely not. So if they think that's good to make what they are doing, go for it. Last week, Fed, and Bloomberg also mentioning it, Fed members are getting more hawkish because they see you are reducing stuff. You are really laying off 20% of your staff. You say you don't have money, but I check the chart and I see you are pushing up, up, up. So it seems that the markets still have enough liquidity left. And the main goal of the Fed then is, as we know, is to maintain the labor market intact, because of course that will have a direct impact to the inflation, and reduce the inflation to 2%. In my opinion, they are far away to reach their goal. So yeah, I can imagine that for the Fed, it's even two members are saying 25 pps, everything peaked, everything is fine, I don't think so. I really don't think so, because everything what happened in 2022 will have an impact to 2023. Hedge funds, private equity firms underwater. I mean, just check that on Google. Hedge funds, they are really bleeding. They are bleeding. Private equity firms, bleeding. They need liquidity. They have more assets than banks, 240 billions. Banks have 180 billions. And they are yelling, they are saying, we need more capital, we need the printer on. And then the Fed just need to check the charts to see, are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? You are pushing up the markets with what? Air? Tether? Of course not. So fuck off. In my opinion, even if the Fed could make in February 1st a decision of saying we are just going to push up our interest rate decision to by 25 pps, means 4.75%, I think they will realize soon enough that that wasn't a good idea. But that's something I still don't have a crystal ball. Until then, it seems bulls can play out. Can play. I really don't care. Some people think I love dumping markets. I have bags. I have bags with altcoins. They are bleeding. I'm a long-term holder, so I don't care. Of course, I would love to see a bull market, but under the current situation, how the global economy is looking like, with all the red flags, and crypto has a lot of red flags, to be honest, I can't trade that. So don't ask me, because I'm not going to trade that. I don't care if Bitcoin is going to 1 million. I really don't care. I will miss it. It's not my business, but I don't trade that. Absolutely not. However, let us go forward and check what the market is showing. So let us take a look what the waves ratio 30 days moving average is doing. While the price is going more up, the waves ratio is declining at the moment just a little bit, but we can see it dumped twice. It dumped here, it dumped here. Otherwise, it maintains relatively high, and that's why the waves ratio 30 days moving average maintains a very high position. So once again, they are indicating they let the price go up. That's what they are doing. We need to see if the waves ratio 1 day time frame is going to decline even more. In such case, if that's going to happen, I would say, that could be really a rally, even not a big one, but enough to push up. At the moment, just another thing why I'm not that bullish, how many of you telling me, hey, we bottomed, everything is fine. Yeah, you did it here, you said the same here when we did 45%. You said that here, when from the bottom to the top, we did 21%. You said that here, when we bottomed, from here, we went up, we did 43%. And what happened afterwards? We did right now, we are doing 16% at the moment. And every time, every single time, you guys are telling, yeah, we are done, bull market next, moon. It's too early to say that. Just because Bitcoin is lifting up in a way that's, in my opinion, not correct, but it's okay. I mean, I don't care. Then if they have the capital to push up that crazy, why not? But it's too early to say we bottomed, everything is fine, we will go up. That's what they did every time. They pushed up and nuked afterwards. Every time. How many slats do you need? How many? I mean, you received 3 in 2022. How many more do you need? Just checking the chart and saying that's it, I think that's in my opinion, it's not enough. But as mentioned, I'm a little bit out right now. They, by the way, they of course liquidated my short at 18,260. That was in the night, midnight, Central European time. They did just almost $800 in 2 hours. And I had such kind of deja vu, and I thought, oh, Jesus, I remember in 2021 when the printer was on, and I remember when Tether just we received these whale alerts, 1 billion fresh minted, and everyone was, okay, let us long, we are going to push up very hard. And every time it happened exactly that. This time, I don't know if they are hiding it. I just see Coinbase continue and Circle minting 250 billions to 120 billion, sending to Coinbase, to unknown, back to Treasury. I don't know what the hell they are doing, but the only thing I really see is that Bitfinex is continuously using Kraken to drive a little bit the market. Something because if you check the whale alerts, you will say at almost every pump, Bitfinex sent funds to Kraken. and afterwards cracking back to Bitfinex. It's maybe just a coincidence. Another thing, check the on Ethereum, on Bitfinex, the ETH perp longs and shorts, because they closed a lot of longs. Something I would be also a little bit careful, but it's your it's your work to figure out what's happening on Bitfinex. So let us go forward, and once again we can see what they are doing. I mean, that's really so crazy what they are doing. It's so crazy, but whales allow that. That's what they are doing. They maintain a relatively low level between 80 and 85. So between I let the price go up, but also distribution. That's what they are doing. While on centralized exchanges, the stablecoin reserves are declining more and more and more. When they are declining, usually not when masses of stablecoins are coming in. I was retweeting another on-chain analyst indicating that the fund flows are in a multi-year low, indicating less demand or less activity, easier to push up the price. That's what's happening. So yeah, that's what we can see here. And you see, I mean, it went up a little bit, then afterwards the price pushed down, and then afterwards they let the price go up more and more, and they use it. Afterwards here, for example, once again, as soon as it start to rise the sell pressure, the price goes down. And every time afterwards, they stop and the price goes up. Like it's just one person driving the market and he's deciding when to buy and when to no. If you check the analysis yesterday, you will see the part when I'm just talking about CBDs, the part where we are checking the algo trading, where I'm explaining how to detect them and so on. And you can see how they buy tiny amounts of Bitcoins just to push up the price with almost no demand, because all algo trades are doing exactly the same. It seems to trigger retail. And when they see the price goes up, it's when they dump at 100, 150, 120 Bitcoins at once. Usually they don't do it. Also, something that looks like, once again, as distribution. So yeah, we are done here, and we need to go to the next one, to the next chapter, to see what's happening next. But you see, I mean, it's really crazy what they are doing here, and that's every time the same. Every time the same. I mean, if you check what they are doing here, and you can check what they did just in the past. And the task that was distribution, so sending Bitcoins to centralized exchanges, let the price go up, price goes up, boom, down. Afterwards here, let the price go up, You can see so much information on the Wales ratio 1 hour time frame. And yeah, I just can recommend to take your time and to check, because it's really useful. Let us go forward. So let us talk about what's happening here to the market as well. Let us check. That was for today. I mean, the day is not over yet. We can see we received 14,000 Bitcoins and they purchased 13,000. We still have a gap of 1,000 Bitcoins. If we check the day before, we received 14,200 Bitcoins. They bought 13,900, just a little gap of 300 Bitcoins. If we check the day before, 17,800 Bitcoins versus 15,000 Bitcoins. Here we have almost 3,000 Bitcoins gap. If we check the day before, 17,660 Bitcoins versus 16,500 Bitcoins. why I'm showing you that. The gap means they are not selling everything. They are not selling it. I will check the stable coins with you together and we will see that as well. Let us just check here. Look what they are doing. Do you see how it looks like? Usually if we have, for example, more green than red, it means the price goes up. If we see more red than green, it means the price goes down because they are selling more. Do you see that? So they let the price go up. They don't sell everything. They sell just the required amount to let the price goes up and distribute. So that's what they are doing. At the same time, and I mean here, that was huge. 3.8 billions in inflows, but also 3.8 billions in outflows. A little gap. We have here a gap of almost 10 millions. That's it. Also here, for example, little gap. Yeah, also 10, 15,000 bitcoins, dollars, millions, 10, 50 millions, and that's it. So nothing big. The whole thing, and we had in the past bigger inflows and stablecoins, and afterwards we pushed up very hard. It's not happening yet. It's just really not happening yet. The only thing that let people just become extremely bullish is the price action. I mean, if you check the low volatility here, of course it let you be bullish here because finally the market is doing anything. But if you check that here, I mean, it's just telling you these guys are preparing the next bigger unload. Nobody knows what price they have in mind. As mentioned so many times, I just can use my basic TI knowledge to try to figure out. But fact is, nobody knows what they want to do next. They sent now 2,800 bitcoins, while they just sold, it seems, 1,600. So once again, they are not using all their bitcoins to unload. 19,200 is where we have the next main POC. So if we go to 19,200 and we spend a lot of time to break to the downside at 19,200, if we are there and we break to the upside, then I would consider the whole thing potentially really bullish, because it's going to be really hard to break this one. But if weights let them, they will do it. Absolutely. So let us take a look to the next chapter. So let us see what's happening to the future market, because it was bleeding a lot, and the first thing I see, open interest lifting up a little bit, but nothing big. Compared to the price, nothing. If that's a try to bring some bullishness to the market, at least it seems that many market actors just are gone. And it would match to what the analyst, the tweet from him I just retweeted, for example, it would match to that, because he was saying that transfers bitcoins point to low institutional activity while still sleeping. That's what I'm saying. Since a while, network activity is declining a lot, and volume and count. And at the same time, what we can see is that OTC only have some activities when the price is in local tops. Afterwards, we decline, meaning these guys are selling, they are distributing, like market maker entities. I mean, they are not accumulating. So, but well, it is what it is, and we had the phase we can see right now. We had so many times just before in 2022, how many times people said, oh, that's bullish, oh, we will go up, and then we nuked afterwards. I mean, it is what it is, and only if we can fight 19.2 and really break to the upside and retest 19.2, and then then these option traders, you remember those who said 23k until end of March, even a little bit more higher, 24k. Well, I would say well played, because these guys were absolutely right, but just remember afterwards they are thinking we will see prices below of 15k afterwards. We will see how far they want to play that. Whatever, let us check. 180 million stablecoins to derivative exchanges, peanuts. 150 millions, peanuts. Related to Bitcoin, 3,500 Bitcoins inflow. That's not bad. The first time since a while that we are receiving that big amount. 2,700 Bitcoins here outflows. Oh, I see. At the same time, also here we had 2,700 Bitcoins outflows. So indicating that some longs took profit before the price went down, and it seems after the last big pump, while we are receiving more Bitcoins afterwards. But after that, you can see the funding rate declined. So we need to see. Right now it seems it's lifting up. Open interest is lifting up. Leverage ratio declined, also very interesting. And even the stablecoin reserves on derivative exchanges lifting up a little bit, but nothing big. So we need to zoom out once again to see how good everything looks like. If we check, we can see open interest was here, just for example in November, and it's still here. So that was, for example, in November to December, and we are right now here. So we didn't recover. Big money still not interested. Push up, push down, push up, push down. That's the only thing we can see. Leverage ratio even declining. That's a good sign, by the way. While you can see we had here reserves. Let me see. We should start from here. Here we had stablecoin reserves on derivative exchanges, and now we are here. Also indicating something. That's not good. Absolutely not. But however, let us go forward. So we are talking here metric estimated leverage ratio. Yeah, that's right. Bitcoin all exchanges. Exactly. So we are here talking about funding rate. We are here talking about leverage ratio. We are talking here about open interest. And we have here Bitcoin long liquidations, all exchanges, and short liquidations. So many people said the market is overloaded with shorts. It's overloaded. Short squeeze will legendary. I mean, take a look what they are doing. I mean, we did almost $3,000 in few days. Let us take a look. Yesterday, not even 270 Bitcoins liquidated in shorts. What the hell is that? Or here, 560. Or here, 880, 900. That's peanuts. Here it was overloaded. Yeah, here it was overloaded. And what happened before we went down? They pushed up to liquidate all of them. You remember, over 30,000 Bitcoins. Or here, for example, we had a bunch of longs. They liquidated 10,500. We had here more shorts than longs. Right now, we have much more longs than shorts. And what is happening? The price is going up. For how long? That's the big question. So nothing changed here. As you can see, they're demanding more longs once again, while the leverage ratio is declining, while the open interest is declining. If we take a look to the 1 hour time frame, we can see They liquidated here some longs. We are talking, for example, 340 here, 250 here, then also some shorts, 175. Then here 200 bitcoins and longs and 60 bitcoins and shorts. And then they liquidated here almost 700 bitcoins because, of course, they are using this kind of trades to attract shorters with high leverage and to liquidate them. That's what they are doing. In my opinion, centralized exchanges stamp, but also here it's just my opinion. Let us go forward. What is Binance doing? Well, let us also here. So it's a better way. So we can see that's the funding rate. The funding rate also here on Binance indicating they're longing. They're just taking the opportunity to long. I mean, if they keep doing what they are doing, yeah, they can long and long and long and long. And I guess until 1 million, everyone is going to be billionaire. And open interest pushing up. Leverage ratio supporting it, not that hard, so indicating they are using at the moment a little bit more volume and less leverage. That's also something very good. Good for the market at least. So, and let us take a look here. I guess a lot of shorts coming in, more than longs on Binance. That's what's indicating, at least here. We have 45 to 55. On Ethereum, looks similar, 42 to 58. So, absolutely. On Bitfinex, longs coming more and shorts reducing more. Only related to Ethereum, you should check on TradingView what they are doing. They closed a lot of longs, a lot. So if we check, for example, now the Kingfisher, let me recheck that and take a look. So if we take a look, they missed to liquidate all of them. Now we have here 37. Wow, look that. That's great. 100 million liquidations, potentially liquidations on Binance. And it seems the biggest bunch is low volume, low leverage, low leverage, but also mid leverage. So we have here a lot of bunch of liquidations waiting to get them. As you see, I mean, on the long side, they didn't place more longs, it seems. Otherwise, it should appear here something. I mean, almost nothing. They need to go down hitting, for example, 16.5 to make a big deal here. Otherwise, they will go more up, more up, more up, more up. I mean, the next one, 8 million liquidation at 19.7, for example. So if I take a look here, it's much more looking like, I'm not sure if there are retailers, but they are shorting with low leverage and mid leverage. So to liquidate all of them, we need to go above of 25,000. Or, as mentioned, go down hitting 16.5 and lower. Now we'll see. So let's see what's happening here. First of all, let us take a look what Binance is doing. Well, Binance is not buying the dip, it seems. Let us talk about the dip. But the aggregated one looks different. So the aggregated CBD pushing up, the spot CBD by Binance declining, the CBD related to Bitcoin collateral futures pushing up, and of course stablecoin collateral futures pushing up. That's what they love to do. So someone but outside of Binance is driving the market. As you can see here, a lot of movements happening. They buy algos, they buy in masses then, and they sell at the same time. The big thing and the most interesting part is if you try to check if you can see any kind of big buys or big sells, for example. And if you see, for example, that you see much more red and bigger, for example here 6 bitcoins, 4 bitcoins, 7 bitcoins, if you see the same on green, then you know, okay, that's, it seems bullish. Otherwise, also here indicating algos are selling. They are just pushing, triggering with tiny amounts, pushing up the price a little bit. Retailers start to jump in, and then they start to sell more. So let us go forward here. Let us go to the next one. What is the next one? The next one is Bybit, of course. Bybit. Bybit is a little bit, Bitfinex, sorry, is surprising me, to be honest. It's really surprising me, but knowing that they are closing a lot of longs related to Ethereum, maybe it makes sense. They started to distribute here. Aggregated, we will take a look. I guess aggregated mostly coming from Coinbase, for example. I mean, yeah. We know Coinbase clients, right? The biggest ones, and so on and so forth. Kraken, once again, and look, I mean, the volume isn't that tiny. I know that Bitfinex is using Kraken. Every time you can check the whale alerts, you will always find that Bitfinex is sending to Kraken. Afterwards, we have a pump, and then you will find another transaction from Kraken back to Bitfinex. Then everything is done. So, but also here you can see from here Kraken pushing, even it's not that big. Let us go forward. What is Bybit doing? Well, Bybit also pushing. As we can see, they are pushing from here up, but also here nothing big. We are talking about almost 700 bitcoins or something. So if we go forward, now we have Coinbase, and of course, take a look what Coinbase is doing. They distributed a lot. They really distributed all the time a lot, and now pushing up. Not that hard as I thought, to be honest, because we are not talking about a big gap. If we check, for example, here we are saying minus 7,000 to minus 2,500. We are talking about 5,000. Let us check what they are doing here. So buying, let us see if they have bigger buyers here. No, it doesn't look like. No, it's tiny. It's everything tiny. If we start to make 0.1, we will see a lot, but not big orders at all. Also here 0.4, 0.1 here, for example, algo. That's, I guess, an algo. So let us go forward. What is Bitstamp doing? Bitstamp, of course, buying. The most bullish exchange I know. 6,000, not that bad as well. So pushing and also helping the aggregated one. And last but not least, Gimini was also very bullish, and we can see, yeah, indeed, that's what they are doing. Also not talking about big amounts, but let us check if wow, look here at 18,913 bitcoins at once, 6 bitcoins at once. Wow, Gimini is really bullish on Bitcoin, it seems. So also very interesting what they are doing here. So yeah, we are done. Let us go for the next one. It's once again, they are pushing more, hitting 19,100. That's what they are doing. And I guess they will go to 19,200, and then we need to see if they can really break the main POC there. Yeah, but it seems they are once again pushing very aggressive, up only. So retailers at the moment not doing anything. These guys here even declining a little bit. These guys here lifting up more, not big, but lifting up more. These guys here, tendency also lifting up more, also nothing big to be honest. Market maker, we will take a look. We had here 4.55 and now 4.58. Let me check something and I can tell you if it's the market maker or if they are just absorbing some wallets from other entities. So let us check the market maker entities with 1k to 10k bitcoins had yesterday 1931 wallets and now they have 1933 wallets, 2 wallets more. Since yesterday, they had 4,572,000 bitcoins and now they have 4,583,000 bitcoins. We are talking about 10,000 bitcoins more, but not because they increased their balances. It's just because these guys got from other entities' wallets. From which part? Well, I can tell you. One wallet came from entities with 10,000 to 100,000 bitcoins because they had 110 wallets yesterday and now they have 109 wallets. Yesterday they had 2,309,000 bitcoins. Now they have 2,295,000 bitcoins. So indicating that also from these big entities to 80% related to centralized exchanges, they declined their wallet more, so less than 10,000 Bitcoin, and shifted directly then to the market maker entity. And that's what the market maker entity is showing, that we have more Bitcoins, not accumulating. They are still not accumulating. They just got from another entity 10,000 Bitcoins. That's it. So yeah, I'm still missing what these guys are doing, because not even buying the dip to support the price to goes up. And that's what these guys always did. I mean, you can see that here in a perfect, I mean, the green line is the Bitcoin price. You can see that, what they did. I mean, does that look bullish to you? Come on, guys. Come on. Yeah, we will go up like we did before. We did it every single time. Every single time. And every single time you are saying, yeah, the bottom is in. And what happened afterwards? Just remind, I mean, that's how it works. And at the moment, Jesus, I would like to see a fucking bull run, but it doesn't look like. Just because these scammers are pushing the price more up, and while the fucking equities, like for example SPY, SPX, are pushing more up because the fucking US dollar is so weak. That's the whole story. The whole story. If the US dollar would go up, they wouldn't care about core CPI or CPI. They wouldn't. But yeah, the US dollar looks like trash. And that's it. That's the whole story. So let us take a look here. If the market maker is sending more funds, let us take a look here. Yeah, indeed, nothing big. Absolutely nothing big. I mean, he sent here 700, another one 800, then here 1,200, then here 700, then here 500, another 570, and right now bringing more. So I guess they will start to send more bitcoins to centralized exchanges and to reduce more its balances. While at the same time, as mentioned here, the reserves, Bitcoin reserves on centralized exchanges are lifting up more indicating at the moment that we have 15, yeah, still 15,000 Bitcoin more than just yeah, almost 10 days before. So not that huge, but yes, that's the point. That's the thing. Market activity is declining more. Only it seems future market recovering softly, and yeah, I mean the open interest lifted up, so it's possible. It's really possible. Miners reserves lifting up as well, while outflows to centralized exchanges as well at the moment, but nothing big. It's not we can't compare that to that here, for example, 11,000 bitcoins and so on and so forth. It seems for them the bottom was almost here, for example, and since then they feel very comfortable and they say, I don't care, let us go forward, everything is going to end well. Yeah, and once again here, for example, every time we have such a peak, afterwards the price dumps. That's OTC versus centralized exchanges, and it seems that centralized exchanges are coming to an end. So they pushed up once again, and we will see, but it looks like we are coming to an end. However, let us go forward. So on Coinbase triggered its sell order at 19K. That was a big one. The next one is at 21. Then we have some at 22, 5, 23, 25. Oh, we'll find a lot. Even I guess at 1 million. Same 27, 29. 31, and someone is making one at 33. Kang, give me some more. No, that's it? Okay, that's it. So also here indicating after they distributed a lot since mid of December, that's what we can see, and the price also went down afterwards. Now it's lifting up, but not still recovering everything they sold. At the same time, removing liquidity to the downside. We have a new wall, it seems here, but reducing a lot here, everything below 13K, for example, even removing here at 14K, and so on and so forth. So nothing to see here, to be honest. I should use the 1 day time frame once again, and it makes better. So they absorb this wall, and we have much more walls to the upside. So we can see that in a better way what they are doing here. Deribit. Let us take a look what Deribit is doing. Deribit waiting to short at 27.7 and 30. That's what they are indicating. They removed a lot of liquidity to the downside, for example, and so on and so forth. Let us take a look. Bitstamp. Bitstamp at the moment also removed liquidity here. Placed new liquidity at 9,300 and so on, removed liquidity here. We still have this sandwich here, but nothing else, nothing to the upside, more to the downside, nothing new. Binance, what is Binance doing? Well, on Binance, to be honest, they triggered almost every single order. We had so many orders here, they triggered every single one. This one at 18.5, 19. We have at 20. I mean, if we start to check, yeah, 30K is the next point. 30K, we will go up to 30K, and then, I mean, to be honest, if they do that, it's time just to leave the market, because really, if they go to 30K just to let the dump afterwards, wow. However, they are removing a lot of liquidity, and instead something that I don't get, I really don't get, why they are placing more volume right now below 10K. Something I don't know, but that looks so incredible, this candle here. That's so crazy. Bitfinex, what is Bitfinex doing? Also here, wow, they removed all these sell orders here above 30K. The biggest one, it's at 26, everything until 29. Absolute, yeah, filled. As you see, also here, they triggered a lot. They are triggering all the sell orders as well. And the biggest one are at 22. At the moment, 20,500. Otherwise, everything below 15K is where they say, okay, that's enough. OKEX spot. OKEX spot, nothing. Maybe we can reduce a little bit, but even then, nothing. Kraken. What is Kraken doing? We can see that also Kraken is not doing anything. So also here 19.6, for example, also triggering all the sell orders and removing liquidity to the downside. That's it. Bitget. What is Bitget doing? Nothing. What is BitMEX doing? BitMEX, nothing. I mean, they remove. We have a wall here at 14K, another one at 15.6. But that's it. Everything else doesn't look like a wall, to be honest. Binance Futures. So what are they doing here? Hello? Hello? Okay. So what they are doing? They triggered a lot of shorts, everything until 17.5. So I don't know why to trigger all of them. So I would say they are right now all wrecked or something. The next one would be here at 19,000, so almost 20K. And if we reduce a little bit, we can see that's what they are doing. They are hitting a little bit more higher, but yeah, well, we received a lot of shorts while market traders longing. Bitfinex derivatives. Let me see. Nothing here, just waiting there at 11.5. Kraken futures. Kraken futures at 10.7 and 10.1. OKEX futures. OKEX futures waiting too long at 9,000. Otherwise 31,000 too short. OKEX swap, well, I mean, we know OKEX swap. Oh, they removed? No. We still have here the OKEX swap at 20K. And Bitget, BTC USDT, nothing to see here. Let us go forward.